Hi, my name is Adriana Evans-Medina, and I'm here to talk about Puerto Rico. Today I have Brianna, Heidi,
Kevin.
Catherine. Alrighty. Puerto Rico is a beautiful, tropical, lush island with rich and vibrant culture and history. The island has a mixture of Taino, Spanish, and African culture that blends together to make Puerto Rico what it is today. As of today, 75% of the island is considered themselves mixed race or other, according to the U.S. Census. Puerto Rico was defined under colonialism. Colonialism is defined as a policy or practice of requiring full or partial control over a country and exploiting it economically for its resources. Now, to start off from the beginning, we need to introduce the indigenous people from South America. By the 7th century, Taino culture had formed and was the dominant group of natives on the island. Before the infamous Christopher Columbus landed, there was a population of roughly 30,000 to 60,000 Tainos on the island. Columbus landed in Puerto Rico in 1493, a year after his first voyage, which he thought was India. The Spanish had taken full control of the island by the early 1500s, and in less than 30 years, the Taino population was less than 2,000 people, because many of them died from the poor working conditions or the European diseases. In 1520, slaves were brought to the island to replace the Tainos for the labor. San Juan was used as a major port to transport the slaves. After the Spanish-American War, the United States gained control of Puerto Rico, and in 1898, Puerto Ricans didn't become U.S. citizens until 1917. And they only became citizens because of the looming World War I, so the U.S. was able to send Puerto Rican troops now that they were considered citizens. Although it was evident, a few years later, the U.S. passed the Jones Act of 1920. This act unfortunately blocked international cargo ships from docking in Puerto Rico, so they had to go to the mainland and then dock in Puerto Rico, which led to the increase of prices of clothing, food, and gasoline. Then in 1947, the Operation Bootstrap started, and the U.S. allowed tax breaks and exemptions for any mainland business to come down. The mainland businesses mostly only hired Americans from the U.S. and didn't consider on hiring Puerto Ricans because of the language barrier. This led to a lot of Puerto Ricans losing their jobs or not being able to find a job to begin with. And it wasn't until 1952 that Puerto Ricans were able to vote for their governor and elect their own governor. Puerto Rican independence movements has always been looked down upon ever since the two Puerto Ricans attempted to kill Truman in 1952 as a political statement. But more recently, the movement has gained back traction since Hurricane Maria and the poor response to helping the island. But as Truman had also signed a elective governor act that made it illegal to print, publish, and sell or exhibit material for the Puerto Rico independence movement. In 1950s, Puerto Rico got the title it has today, a Commonwealth, and in 1952 it was finalized, with 82% of the voters supporting the law. Over the past few decades, Puerto Rico has had votes on whether or not to change its status, but they have remained the same because they cannot come to an agreement on whether or not staying a Commonwealth, becoming a state, or being independent. As of today, Puerto Ricans still can't vote in the presidential election, unfortunately, so it's taxation without representation. Puerto Rico is a rich and vibrant culture that has generated many famous people like Bad Bunny, Luis Guzman, Rita Moreno, who is the first Latina to win an Oscar, and Monica Buick, who is the first Puerto Rican to win an Olympic gold medal. In recent years, the Spanish music has become more mainstream in the U.S. due to Bad Bunny. Although some Puerto Rico's history is dark and gloomy, we are a strong, beautiful group, proud group of people, and this is the history of Puerto Rico.